too.
So, good evening guys, and welcome to our slightly late live stream. I'm going to be slightly quiet, so let us know if you can't hear me, and I'll try and be a bit louder. So this is something that we do quite often through the spring, summer and early autumn, which is where we head out and do a bit of bat watching. So we have James over there, who is on our bat detector. He's hoping to pick up some. Bats. So you guys, there we go. You might be able to hear that. We're hoping to pick up some of the calls from the bats, so you guys can get an idea of what they sound like. Now I'll introduce myself. My name's Ben. I'm going to chat to you. We've got Sophie behind the camera. We're not just bat watching just for ourselves, although we do it anyway. What we're doing is we are, as part of our zoo licence, as part of being a zoo, we like to do conservation projects. We like to do projects to try and encourage diverse wildlife within our zoo. And one of the things we're really keen on focusing on are bats. Bats, they are amazing animals. They are the only mammals that can truly fly. They make up about 20% of the mammal species here in the UK, but only about 1% of the actual mammals by population. And they are truly amazing animals. A single pipistrelle can eat up to 3,000 midges in a night in one hunting bout. That is truly phenomenal. And bats sadly have been in rapid decline across the world. They have really been struggling. This is due to a number of reasons: habitat loss, lack of roosting areas, lack of prey, even things as small as use of pesticides really does affect our bats. I'm not sure if you can hear that in the background.
Let's look at it.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but yeah, I don't know if you want to zoom in on James a little bit.
We have to be a little bit careful because the phone can actually muck around with the detector a little bit.
So,
I'll walk away from that then.
So they make up obviously a huge amount of our mammal species, and we're really keen on trying to protect them. Part of our project last year was to assess first of all the population, but also the diversity of bat species we get in and around the Knockhatch land. I will say that the results we got are only data. It's only what we picked up on our bat detectors. But what it suggested, we got around 5 to 9 species. We're pretty sure we got around 9 species that we picked up. Everything from the western barberstraw to the sort of common pipistrelle. We've been really lucky and had quite a lot of species in and around our area. We focus on 3 main areas. We focus on our lake, which is kind of the best area to get bats. Lakes are absolutely fantastic. It's where, particularly large bodies of water, is where a lot of your insects breed. A lot of them come out to feed, a lot of them come out to drink and to mate. So the bats, I don't know if you can see them in the background, they take full advantage of that. They literally hoover them up. As I said before, a single pipistrelle can scoff up around 3,000 midges in a night. It's an amazing thing. So we got 3 sites we're using. Our lake, there we go, a little field out back, which is to represent open pasture land, and our conservation garden, which is quite close to human habitation, artificial light, and we're just looking to see what the populations are like around these 3 areas. That's what we did last year. This year, now we have a rough idea of what we have. We're really focusing on trying to increase insect numbers with the use of wildflower gardens, with the use of bug hotels, and other sort of making our zoo as insect friendly as possible, to try and see if we can significantly increase the bat population around Knockhatch, which would be the best result for us. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit quiet for you, and we're going to see if you guys can spot some bats. I can't make any promises. I realise it's quite low light, but we're also going to try and see if you can hear them on our detector. I'll say this basically picks up their calls. Bats use something called echolocation. It's the same thing dolphins use. despite the myths, mostly bats, they aren't blind. They can see slightly, but they rely on echolocation to find their food, and it's basically them giving out a call, that call bouncing back towards them. There we go, that's another one. That call bouncing back towards them, and then being able to build up a picture of their surroundings through sound alone, which is absolutely amazing. And they're not, and that call, that sound that bounces back, gives them an idea of size of their prey, the direction it's flying. It can tell them a lot about the prey that they're hunting. So that's what we're listening out for there. Which, again, I don't know if this is coming through on your sound. I hope it is. But yeah, that's basically what we're picking up there. Now we do have another detector, one which helps or suggests what species it may be that we're finding. But the noise on that isn't very loud, so we thought we'd use one that was nice and loud for you guys to maybe get a chance to hear our bats. Let us know if any of that is coming through.
Yeah, Joanne Margaret says we can see and hear them.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for letting us know about that, Joanne. I will say very quickly, I have a couple of little thanks for tonight, because two of our regular bat watchers and two people who are heavily involved with our project couldn't be with us tonight. That's due to sort of COVID-19, due to the lockdown. Sadly, we are literally running on a skeleton crew, but Joanne Margaret and Eric Knight usually come out with us and help us with our data collection and are heavily involved in helping us with this, and sadly they couldn't be here, and Eric did provide a lot of the information for tonight and the bat detector you're listening to now. So a huge thank you to both of them, and I'm assuming they're both watching, so big thanks, and we can't wait to have you out with us again as soon as this lockdown is lifted.
And Lisa also says she can hear the bat detector, and yeah, people are saying yeah, it's coming through clearly, luckily.
And do let us know in the comments if you want us to continue doing stuff like this. Myself, James, Sophie, and the other staff, we do absolutely love doing these projects. It's something particularly for a lot, for a lot of us, there is the day-to-day feeding, cleaning, looking after the animals. But being able to get out into nature, being able to study our native wildlife, it is a really important thing for all of us. So if you want to kind of see what we're doing through the spring and summer, feel free to let us know, and we'll try and do more of these videos. Alternatively, if you want us to let you get on with your evening, we're more than happy for that to happen as well. I'll tell you some of the things we're doing at the moment. If you've seen our conservation garden, you might have seen our bat barn. So that's basically a barn. It's made to look like a rustic old barn with a hollowed out roof. I'm afraid to say there are no bats in there at the moment, and the chances are they won't be in there for a few years yet, because they take a little while to acclimatise to new structures, but that eventually we hope will become a roost. We have put some. There we go. We have put some bat boxes up on the islands as well, which are a bit more secluded, a bit more peaceful as well. We've actually spent most of the evening after work planting our wildflower garden, trying to get some wildflowers to increase. Because as I say, bats are dependent on insects. Our bats anyway. All of our bats here in the UK are insectivorous. They all eat insects. So trying to preserve our insects, trying to increase their numbers is one of the best ways you can help bats. And if you guys want to help bats at home, there are loads of things you can do. A huge one is hedgerows. Hedgerows, they are fundamental to our British ecology anyway, but for our bats, they are really important, and are thought to be a reason for their decline because they've started to disappear. We're just seeing bats commonly, they will follow the line of hedgerows searching for food, particularly insects. Leaving your hedgerows intact in your garden can really help. Having a wildlife pond, again, I can't stress how important bodies of water are to our insects, to lay eggs, to breed, to feed, to drink. They are fundamental. So having a wildlife pond, having wildflowers, particularly native wildflowers, can really help as well. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask. As I say, we're going to be out here for a little while yet, listening out for the bats. I will say we started relatively early in the year, and fairly early in the evening. A lot of them are crepuscular, they hunt in the dawn and dusk, so this is the perfect time for them. But hopefully in the coming weeks and months we should see even more. What was that?
What is it?
We're inundated at the moment.
I don't know how easily you guys can hear the detector, but one thing that the lovely Eric Knight showed us is that if you can hear the individual sort of squeaks, when you get a really high-pitched one that is sort of followed by a tiny little pause and then is continued, that's actually the bat when it's caught a bit of food and it's continuing flying after. So you get that tiny little pause where it has to swallow it.
Joanne says, can you explain what a zoo project is and why you do it?
Yes, so the zoo
Excellent question, Joanne.
Yes, thank you, Joanne. The zoo project basically, by law, to have a zoo licence, which is obviously what we've got, you have to do, by law, projects that enhance the welfare of your animals or projects that help with conservation in your local area. So this is one of the things we're doing for our zoo project. This is basically where we're trying to encourage wildlife and also increase populations and diversity in and around the site that we use. Not all of the stuff we do is purely for that. We do an awful lot of behavioural studies on our animals. For me, it's my specialty. It's what I've studied in. So the behaviour projects, they are there to make sure our animals are well looked after. Behaviour is a fantastic way of telling how well your animal is doing in captivity. So one of the things we talked about in the past was was where we flew birds of prey over the meerkat enclosure to try and encourage natural behaviours such as predator avoidance behaviours and social behaviours. So that was more one that we did as a zoo, just to see how we could try and make captivity even better for our meerkats. But yeah, it is something that luckily is stipulated by law. To be a zoo, you have to perform, you have to do projects, you have to try and give back to wildlife, to nature, which is fantastic. Yeah, we are always really keen to get involved with it. And like I say, we all like to get on board, particularly, you know, James and Sophie, bless them. I've dragged them out at least 2 or 3 times a week every spring and summer, depriving them their evenings, particularly Saturday evenings, when I'm sure in other times they'd be able to go out. But I've dragged them out to a nice, fairly cold and damp field to come and look for bats with me and geek out about bats. And to their credit, they seem to really love it. And yeah, I really appreciate them coming out and helping. And as I say, Eric and Joanne as well.
Mandy said, do you guys live on site? You always seem to be there. It did accompany a smiley face.
We don't live on site, no. I won't give away the location that you live if you don't want me to. No, we don't live on site, we travel in every day. We're just
here
avid
every
fans
day.
of the zoo. But yeah, no, yeah, we're just always here.
From Mike Anderson, we have cats and dogs. Will this deter bats from coming into our garden if we put a bat box up?
Not necessarily. Cats are a subject that I've got to be very careful on, because my views on cats are controversial.
Yes, the long answer is yes, you can put bat box up.
You can put a bat box up, but there is every chance that your cat may try and raid it. Luckily, obviously, bats are very fast and very agile, so if it's out of reach of the cat, you should be fine.
And we say,
yeah.
if you do have cats and you're ever worried about the wildlife in your garden, be this birds or any other wildlife, you should carry on helping them out anyway, because your cat won't, it will benefit, your wildlife will still benefit. Even like, yeah, exactly, there's loads of ways you can like control your cat if you're worried about them catching it, but even then they normally only catch the weak animals, like the ill animals. So just help the animals out, the wildlife out anyway, regardless of your cats or neighbours' cats.
Thank you very much, Mike, Lisa and Melissa, for watching. We greatly appreciate it.
Karen Vanessa said, "Hi, I have just joined. Is that clicking the bats?"
Yes, for anyone who has just joined, what we have here is a bat detector. This is basically picking up the echolocation
I don't know if they can
from
see
the
it.
bats. It's the calls they're making to search for their food. So yes, that is the bat giving a little call. I think it might be too low light. I'm not sure for you guys to see them, but they are flying about. So yes, what we do is we'll use this, and this gives us a better idea. It gives us the opportunity to listen to them and hear them. But we do have another detector that basically records them, so it logs down the roughly whereabouts they were when they made the call, and suggests the species that they may be, and that's how we then compile that data onto a spreadsheet, and then we can analyse it statistically to see if there are any trends in the populations, in the diversity, etc. Thank you all for joining us. We do really appreciate it. What is it, Saturday night? I don't know what's on.
Don't know.
Appreciate you watching us instead.
The guys flying around at the moment are more than likely common, aren't they?
Yeah, chances are what we've got are pipistrelles flying around. So we have, I think, 3 species of pipistrelles. Don't quote me on that one. You got your common pipistrelle, your naturus pipistrelle, and the other one, which I can't remember the name of off the top of my head. But basically, your 2 main types of pipistrelles, 2 main species, make up about 2 million of our bats, population-wise. Now, we think there are only around 2.5 million bats in the UK, so you've got to think they take up a huge amount of the total bat population. So the pipistrelles are the ones you're most likely to see at home, particularly over bodies of water on the fringes of woodland. Yeah, chances are what you're seeing and hearing at the moment are pipistrelles, which is really exciting. I will say, just an idea of size, they are absolutely tiny. I mean, the body of a bat with the wings closed, isn't much bigger, sort of than the top of my thumb. Thank you, the top of my thumb. So they are absolutely diddy, and as I say, yeah, they consume, as I say, a common pipistrelle about 3,000 midges in a single hunting bout, which is a huge, huge amount, and it's testament to just what efficient hunters they are. That sort of hunting for hours. And sadly, the main reason for their decline is us. It's, particularly here in the UK, it's urbanisation, taking down old woodland. Old woodland is essential for so many of our native animal species. Bats love to roost in.
And old barns,
and old
old
barns.
buildings.
Yeah, but bats like to roost in, tree hollows, caves, in old barns and buildings. And these just are disappearing at a frightening scale. There we go, another one. These are disappearing at quite a scary amount, and like I said, hedgerows are fundamental. Go on.
The thing is with bats as well, is bless them, while they are such fantastic little animals and they're so good at what they do, they are very, very fragile little things. So even out here, for example, I don't know how much you can see with the light, but if we took the Middle Island, for example, myself and Ben and Sophie last year, we spent quite a bit of time sort of excavating parts of it so we could put in bat boxes, bug hotels and things like that. But even doing small little changes to an island like that can deter them for months, because they are so small and they are so reliant on knowing their area. Those tiny little changes sort of make it completely unknown to them, and they really struggle to get used to it again.
And slightly segueing off what James just said, obviously being so sensitive, another really important thing about bats is they're an indicator species. They help indicate the health of your environment. They help give you an idea of how healthy your ecosystem is, almost like litmus paper. Literally, they will, if your insects are in abundance, if you've got a healthy habitat, chances are you're going to see a lot of bats, and more importantly, a big diversity in bats. Variety of species is really important, because there are some of the less common ones which are struggling. So yeah, seeing bats around is a really good indicator of a healthy environment.
Karen asked how many bats together in a colony is considered a good, healthy size.
That's a very, very good question. One that I wouldn't want to hazard a guess at. It is species specific. Some bats will live in smaller colonies, some will live in larger. You could talk in hundreds, if not thousands, can be a good size. But that is one that I will put in the comments when I have an exact answer for you. I won't want to hazard a guess. But yeah, no. Chances are we've got a lot of woodland near us. They're probably holed up somewhere there, or we've got a lot of old barns. Obviously, being Sussex, loads of old barns, loads of old areas. So what I'm going to give you is I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes just to listen to the bats and watch the bats, and then I am probably going to finish it there. So I'll come back at the end. Okay guys, so thank you so much for joining us on your Saturday night. We do greatly appreciate it. As I say, any more questions, please leave them in the comments. I will admit I'm going to be driving home in just a minute, so I may not get to them straight away, but I will try and help you. I will try and answer them, as will, I'm sure, Sophie and James. And as I say, just thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope to do some more of these videos. Please let us know if you'd like to see more. We'd love to do them. As I'm sure you can tell, all three of us love geeking out about bats and our native wildlife. We'll try and be a bit more diverse. We'll try and show you some other wildlife that we get around Britain as well. We'll be trying to upload some camera traps. There will be a bit of a delay on that, so I'm trying to work out how to send them to our sort of media expert, Chris. But yeah, so thank you for joining us, and let us know if you want to see more. Thank you very much, guys, and happy Easter.